so step one, fill the kettle with purified water, filtered water. Step two, fill the bottle, not fill the bottle, but fill it up about a quarter of the way with cold filtered water. Step three, fill the bottle with the hot water. And again, this is the ideal temperature, especially in the morning, is body temperature water. The next step is to add the salt. Now, if you're just beginning, you can add a tiny amount of salt. It doesn't matter how small, and then gradually get used to it, get used to the taste. Ideally, in the beginning, you don't want to taste the salt or you won't be as eager to drink the water. But at some point, you want to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt per quart of water. So that's the ideal amount, or that's the ideal proportion. And then the next step is to begin drinking the water. And what we have discovered over time is that the most important thing is to sip the water. You don't glub, glub, glub 6 ounces at a time or 8 ounces at a time. You certainly don't drink a whole quart at a time. You sip the water. And so a sip is 1 ounce or 2 ounces. It's not more than 2 ounces. And so you drink that water, and what happens is when you do this in the beginning of the day, and you do this before eating, you don't put anything else into your body. You start each day by drinking a certain amount of water, and that amount will change and vary based on your body weight and activity level. So in my case, I have always consumed a whole quart of water, sipping 2 ounces at a time, very slowly, and I take a whole hour to accomplish that. I don't sit down and have breakfast until I've consumed a whole quart of water. Now, you would think that a whole quart of water would be sitting in your stomach and you would feel full and you wouldn't be able to eat your breakfast. Well, it's not true. And this is why it's so important to sip the water. When you sip the water actually absorbs through the stomach and enters the bloodstream, which is where you want the water going. Okay, so again, if you drink slowly, sip the water consistently, you'll have consumed whatever amount is best for you in that first hour. 12 ounces, 16 ounces, 24 ounces, in my case, 32 ounces. And your stomach will feel empty when you sit down and have breakfast. Okay, so then the next step, and basically the last step of the water cure, is to make sure that you drink the right amount of water for you, and that right amount is half your body weight in ounces of water per day. So again, I weigh 200 pounds. I need to drink 100 ounces of water per day. If you weighed 150 pounds, it would be 75 ounces of water a day. So I teach people to divide the day into 4 quarters, but these 4 quarters are not of equal time. And the first quarter is the first hour of each day. You definitely want to consume a certain amount of water within the first hour before you eat breakfast. And you do that very slowly. Body temperature water, the right amount of salt, sipping very slowly. And then after breakfast, you start on the next amount of water. In my case, it's a whole quart. So by lunchtime, I will have consumed a second quart of water. So by lunchtime, I've already had 64 ounces of water. I'm 3/4 of the way there, 2/3 of the way there. Okay? And then after lunch, again, you're sipping each time. You're not falling behind. You're not glub glub drinking a lot of water at once. You're sipping throughout the day. And then in the time from after lunch to before dinner, I will drink pretty much another quart of water. And so by dinner time, I will have consumed 96 ounces of water. And then in the time after dinner and before bed, again, very small amount, just sipping a little bit. If you come to dinner time and you haven't reached 90 to 95% of your quota, then you're going to end up drinking water into the evening, and that's going to disrupt your sleep. You're going to find yourself waking up to pee. So this is an important point for a lot of people, and it certainly was for me. So even though I drink 100 ounces of water a day, I am not waking up in the middle of the night to pee. It doesn't happen. Your body is properly hydrated, your bladder will become properly hydrated, and you will not pee an inordinate number of times. You will go often during the day, every hour, hour and a half, something like that. But you don't want this causing you to wake up at night. So in my personal case, I will have consumed all this water at the end of each day, and I tend to wake up once at night, but that one time is about half an hour before the alarm goes off. So it does not interrupt my sleep. So that's it for this part of the WaterCure video. And please, if you don't have a copy of the written form of the WaterCure, check the website, call our office number, which will be in the credits at the end of the video, and we will email you a copy of the WaterCure recipe. So that combination of the written copy and this video version, you will be on your way to establishing proper daily hydration as one of the fundamental pieces of the puzzle in your approach to health and well-being. Okay, welcome to part 2 of the WaterCure video. This is why to do the WaterCure. So in January 2017, it'll be the 20th anniversary of my personal discovery of the WaterCure. It was in January 1997. I was attending a seminar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a young man handed me this book. And this book is called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. You're not sick, you're thirsty. And why this was so important to me is that for the previous 20 years, I had been suffering from periodic bouts of anxiety and depression. And these were pretty bad, and they were often very acute. I would have acute anxiety attacks, totally out of the blue, that were not circumstantial. And the same thing with bouts of clinical depression. Sometimes the depression would last a day or two, sometimes it would last a month or two. And in fact, at this point in time, in January 1997, I was probably in the worst period of depression I had ever been in. And so chapter 5 of this book is called Stress and Depression. And the stress that he describes in the book is the stress that shows up in the body when you are dehydrated, when you're chronically dehydrated. And this is something that I never thought about before. So I read the book on the flight home. I called the publisher on Monday morning, and I spent about 2 hours on the phone with the author, Dr. Batman Gelig, who we call affectionately Dr. B. And in that 2 hours, he explained a lot of things to me, but the ultimate result was that I was willing to try the WaterCure. And the WaterCure is very simply drinking half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And so I weigh 200 pounds, so I drink 100 ounces of water a day. Now, at the time, I probably never drank more than 20 to 24 ounces of water a day. So I kept complaining to him saying, there's no way I could ever do that. He said, just do it, trust me, and see what happens. So again, I was in a very bad place in my life. I was suffering terribly from depression. And he said it would take somewhere between 14 and 28 days once I got to these compliant levels of water and salt. And there's, as you saw in part 1, a little bit of salt that you add to each quart of water. So I went about doing this very methodically, day 1, day 2, day 3, and on day 14, I woke up still totally depressed. But at lunchtime, I went into the kitchen to pour my second quart of water. And as I was pouring the water, as I literally was filling the bottle, my depression lifted. And it lifted, not partially, it lifted 100%. And that was the first time in over 20 years that I felt totally normal. So, as you can imagine, that really got my attention. And what I can say to you is that from that moment, in January 1997, to this moment, in 2017, I've never had another bout of depression. I've never had 5 minutes of depression, not even 20 seconds of depression, and I've never had an acute anxiety attack again. So in my particular case, I was doing a lot of other things for my health, but the area of hydration was really missing. And so this has been a really life-changing discovery, life-changing breakthrough. And I had many conversations with Dr. B before he passed away in 2004, and I promised him that I would share this with as many people as possible. And so on the 20th anniversary of this discovery, I wanted to produce this video. So just a couple of things about the physiology of hydration, why it's so important. And of course, for me, I experience benefits in the area of, my central nervous system, if you will, or some people thought it was brain function. It had nothing to do with that. It was my whole body was dehydrated. And my body was demonstrating to me, trying to communicate to me through these symptoms of anxiety and depression. So other people have joint pain, other people have skin problems, other people have energy deficits, cognition challenges, all kinds of symptoms. But everything is based on hydration. So in other words, our physiology, the proper functioning of our physiology depends on proper hydration. This is like root cause number one. So if you think of the body is 75% water. And of the 100 trillion cells that make up the human body, 55 to 85% of the physical structure of every cell of our body is water. Of course, it's not just pure water, coming out of a purifier or a spring. It's water infused with nutrients. Water infused with all the chemicals necessary for that cell to function normally. In fact, the water inside of a cell is called cytosol. So the basic idea is that if your cells are experiencing dehydration at any level, in other words, if the cells are supposed to be hydrated at 100% and your lack of water causes the cell to dehydrate to 90% or 80% or 70%, then your body will try to communicate that to you through a variety of symptoms. And so this is a remarkable discovery. This medical doctor, again, Dr. B, spent the last 25 years of his life researching this, proving the efficacy of this approach, proving that water and salt has medicinal properties, proving that so many symptoms are primarily caused by what he called chronic, unintentional dehydration. So I hope this simple explanation motivates you to try the water cure. You have nothing to lose and lots to gain, as I have and many, many other people have over the years. So I think that'll do it for part 2, and thanks very much. Have a great day, and see you soon.